The strongest.
They're in the strongest. 21 games in. That's a big statement, isn't it?
They're in the strongest position to do it, Liverpool, because the strength what they have off their bench. When they're struggling to break down Brentford today, you just switch it off the bench, and it's not pretty, but it's effective. And they get the job done, Steve. They get the job done. And they've got more experience than Arsenal win Premier Leagues. Everyone thinks that Arsenal got so much more experience because they finished close to Man City over the last few years. Liverpool got players in the team who've actually got over the line and won Premier Leagues. They know how to do it. I think it's not impossible. Of course it's not. And I hope it is going to be a tight race right to the end. But I just don't see Arsenal winning between now and the end of the season and not dropping any more points. I think it's going to be very difficult for Liverpool to lose 4 or 5 games now.
It is going to be tough. It's going to be tough, especially like Tim said about who you can get in this window. Who's going to, if Arsenal do have the money, if they've got it or not, who's going to let go of the players that Arsenal will need? And we're talking about top end to try and finish this race off. I just feel that when you look at the team, you look at that defence today. You've got Thomas Partey, unfortunately. You have to say that he's a bit at fault for the goal. He's not a right back. He shouldn't be playing there himself. He's a midfielder. You've got a youngster in Miles Lewis-Skelly playing there. Plays very, very well.
Best
played
player on the pitch for
well
Arsenal.
again. And you've got Jura Timber, another right back playing there. So you could see where Arsenal, the team, need help. I think that you go back to the summer, Steve, and that window is a window that they'll probably look at with Moreno, with all due respect to him, not knocking him, and Calafiori. Is it a window where you're looking at and saying, has that helped us up to this point? And you have to think to yourself, it's not done as much as we needed it to do.
And we double-checked earlier on, the net spend for Arsenal in the smer was only £21 million.
21, yeah. So you look at that and you think that, the people upstairs need to do something. You know what I mean? I think I will back this manager to the end. You know what I mean? He's continually progressed us as the years have gone by. People saying he can't get over the line. He can't get over the line with the way it's going with this crop of players. He needs more help. He needs the ball to help him.
Win earlier on. And it looked so good at 2-0, didn't it, when Havertz got his goal?
Yeah, it did. And to be honest, the way they were playing, it was comfortable. But you always know that in the back of your mind, you do feel that Villa and the way they're playing, especially with that mid-block, and the pace they've got up front, then they're going to have a chance of scoring. So, it was up to us to be a little bit more calm about the way we were doing, bring them onto us a little bit more, try and break through. But it didn't happen. Villa are a quality side in that respect. You have to see them off, Steve. Try and break through. But it didn't happen. Villa are a quality side in that respect. You have to see them off, Steve. You have to see them off.
But when Kai Havertz got this goal, the whole stadium was up. Everyone seemed a little bit more settled.
Yeah.
However, in fact, the year they were chasing for the title, they had a problem with 2-0, didn't they? And that's ultimately what cost them.
Yeah, it did. And you know what as well, Steve? Once the goal, brilliant. It's a great play from Trossard, who was brilliant. Oh, I thought he was fantastic today. Brilliant cross. And then Kai, you get in there, you get in front of the defender, you get it on target. That's what he's done brilliantly here. But, I love what Trossard's doing here on the outside, not waiting for anyone. You notice Miles Lewis-Skelly doesn't try and get round him. He's just left him on his own to have a go at him, and then brilliant from Kai to get in front of him. And at that point, you're thinking to yourself, brilliant, now we could stay calm, no panic, let's keep the ball, move it around, let Villa have to come out, and then if we could pick them off, then you pick them off. But again, it didn't happen like that.
No, and the issue was, Tim, that they let 2-0 for less than 5 minutes. It was an instant response from Villa.
Absolutely, that's key. You try and manage the game, just get in possession. You ain't got to score again, you're 2-0 up. Just try and take the heat out of it. But, that's a wonderful ball from Digne, and Tielemans comes in and a diving header. We think it's possibly Moreno comes in and gets his toe on it, and whether it hits Tielemans' head after that, but it's a good, brave diving header. But it's all about the cross. Great delivery. Defending's not good enough. It's not good enough. You have to just be solid. It's all right in hindsight. You say, if Saliba was there, would have made a difference. We can ask all them questions. In fact, he wasn't there, so they have to cope. Other teams have to cope when they're losing big players. Arsenal have to find a way of coping. All teams do. If you want to win the Premier League, you can't worry about what you haven't got. You've got to worry about what you've got and making the best of it and trying to get maximum points. And that was the key moment. They struck back too early. If they would have killed the game for 10, 15 minutes, it didn't happen. And it felt like, we said it we was watching the game. We felt if they score Villa, it could be very difficult for Arsenal.
The more you watch it and you think to yourself, can we keep the ball? Can we play? Even when Villa, when they were in that position to get the ball out to Digne, you just felt like we were a little bit off it. And for Tielemans to be able to run off of Moreno and get on the inside of him like that was, it's not good enough. That's poor defending. Should never let him get that side. If he gets in front of you, you could see him, you can maybe go and block him, you can stop him. But for him to get on the inside of him there, to the point where he's now stretching, you know, it's poor defending. Brilliant from Tielemans' point of view, getting in there, causing the problem. But if you watch that from outside the box, it should have been dealt with ages ago, that run, and it wasn't. And you get punished. You get punished. Villa weren't great today, but in certain aspects of the game, they were absolutely brilliant.
You've said to me many times, better to be a lucky manager than a good one. Unai Emery was about to take Ollie Watkins off. John Duran had his tracksuit top off. The number was prepared. The piece of paper was into the fourth official, and then this happened.
And then this happens, I mean, Wright, he would never have been in this position because they never ever brought him off. But Ollie was coming off. Wonderful cross to the back post, but it's poor defending. I cannot tell you how bad this is from Thomas Partey here. He has him there. He's got him in a good position. Now he hasn't. He steps up. The rest of the defence drop. He needs to drop with the line. Just manage it. Head the ball. And Ollie just keeps his eye on it. And he cannot believe that misses Kai Havertz's head and he just gets a volley on it. He's so close. Raya has no chance, goes above his head. You know, as you said, it's Unai Emery has won for him there. He got lucky on that one because who's to say John Duran wouldn't have done that anyway. Ollie Watkins will score goals. If you leave him on the pitch, he will score like Duran does when he comes off the bench.
I do feel for Thomas Partey there, though. You know, he's a right back. He's playing right back. He's a midfield player. You know, again, it comes down to the squad and the thinness of the squad. And he's been put in a position where I think Trossard, can he get closer to that cross? You could see the poor movement from Thomas Partey. He's not used to that movement. Once he's come back in, there's no way he should be leaving him to go off the back of his shoulder like that. He's got to stay with him. He cannot have that much time and space. And again, I thought that Arsenal were very dominant with the ball and played very well. Villa had their moments. And there are two moments there what cost us, really cost us, because they punished us. They were ruthless with them.
They're chasing one team, which is Liverpool. And I put myself, and I look at them two goals there, Marino for the first one, Thomas Partey for the second one. And I look at how Liverpool would have dealt with that. And all I see is Gravenberch. Gravenberch does the ugly side of the game. He's responsible. He sees it. He defends. He helps out his defenders. I think these Arsenal players play for themselves too much to say, well, that's my job, I'm a midfield player. I feel for Thomas because he's not a right back. They're asking him to do a job because it needs must at the moment because of the injury problems they have. But you need to be diligent, you need to do your job, you need to be responsible for your team. Unfortunately, the two central midfield players, one playing right back today in Thomas Partey, have cost them today because they haven't been willing to put their bodies on the line and do their jobs properly. They're just intent of just waiting to get the ball forward and then they want to join in. We can all want to join in and play and go forward and create chances and score goals. Sometimes you have to put tackles in. You have to get your goal side. You have to head the ball out of the box. They're not doing that well enough. Whereas Gravenberch for Liverpool is doing all that and more.
OK, let's hear from the man who did punish Arsenal with that second goal. Killer goal in the end, Ollie Watkins.
Ollie, what a fight back. Just how satisfied can you be with that point today?
Yeah, I think really satisfied, you know, going 2-0 down and then bringing it back and then pushing on, looking like we could get a third. I think, you know, it's massive to go 2-0 down at the Emirates is tough to come back from behind. And obviously we did that. We rescued a point. So, yeah, it's positive.
You were about to come off and then you scored.
Oh, really? I didn't realise.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't realise that. To be fair, I was disappointed that I did come off. Obviously, I want to play as many minutes as possible. I felt like I was having a good game. So, yeah, it was... Yeah, obviously the manager's decision, do whatever I can to help the team, but obviously I want to play as many minutes as possible.
What a finish. Talk me through it.
To be fair, I was in two minds, kind of. I didn't know whether to take a touch and then finish or hit it first time, and so many things were going through my mind at that moment, but I just thought, yeah, just to make contact with it, hit the target, and yeah, it was nice to see it go in.
Yeah, John Duran was stood there about to come on just before you did score, and then obviously Unai told him to sit back down and put his jacket on. But what does that competition do for you, and how much does it motivate you? Do you like the competition?
Yeah, I think you know, it's good to have competition. It's never nice to be comfortable, and it's always good to be kept on your toes. So you can see what John can do. He's an unbelievable young player with so much talent. You've seen some of the goals he's scored this year, so it speaks for itself. But I think you need healthy competition in every squad.
Aston Villa 2 points off the top 4 as things stand. Is that very much the focus now for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think, you know, just take it game by game, see what happens. We had a bit of a sticky patch. We came out from that, and we started to pick up some points, and now the league table looks quite tight. So, you know, we're just focusing on the next game. We got the Champions League game now on Tuesday, so recover and get ready for that, and then go again.
Brilliant, thanks Ollie, good luck midweek.
Cheers.
Oh, I'm Rebecca Lowe. Robbie, what happened for the first hour?
Yeah.
Arsenal were really impressive, and at half-time both of you were singing their praises.
Absolutely. A couple of ill-disciplined moments defensively. Players allowed from the Aston Villa team to get an effort in on goal that cost them. 2 goals in 8 minutes has cost a game when, before the game, I think they'd have been disappointed in the draw. In the manner that it's come, can't believe that's happened. And it was one of those days where a draw feels like a loss. You look at the faces of the manager, you look at the faces of the player. They knew how important the 3 points were, and in some ways, they've let that go.
You can't be too up at home, can you, with half an hour to go?
Well, that's the thing that's so devastating, because they gave a huge effort in that game, a huge effort to get 2-0 up after an hour. First game's a fair goal from Yuri Tillemans. We'll take a close look in the highlights. The second goal, the Watkins goal at the back post, Thomas Partey has got him and just lets him go. Now, Thomas Partey's been pretty good at right back recently, but he's not a right back. And if Lee Dixon, you know, or Graham Lasso's a full-back, if a natural fullback is playing, they stay with the runner. If you're not sure, you don't just run away and let him run in behind. So that was a really bad error. Other than that, Arsenal gave absolutely everything and had big performances from some of their players.
And Partey at right back was a knock-on effect from William Saliba being injured, which we talked about at the beginning, was a concern.
And Moreno's let somebody go for Tielemans go for the first goal backs. And where we've looked at the players who aren't playing, it was around the 60-minute mark when, as a manager, sometimes you want to just change it and freshen it up again and get a bit more legs in the team after all the emotional games they've had coming up. And Mikel Arteta didn't really have that luxury to do that today, and maybe that's cost him.
I mean, we should also give credit to Aston Villa.
Absolutely.
Aston Villa are a club that's going places. They really, really are. Ambitious owner, a good squad. They spent money. They're going to spend more money. They've got a great director of football and a coach. And they just needed a little window of opportunity to play, because Arsenal was so all over them for that hour that they had no room to play. But efficient finishing, pounce on mistakes, they get a couple of goals from, you know, a couple of sporadic attacks, and they get a point.
Depth of squad as well showed up in the end. Obviously, Unai Emery could make the kind of changes that Mikel Arteta couldn't.
Good enough for top 4, Villa?
They are. It's a challenge. There's plenty of teams up there, and the Champions League's going to start kicking in now. So that's been what's difficult for them. But again, in the future, they're going in one direction, and that's up.
And where does this stand now for Arsenal? 6 points.
It's really tough. Mikel Arteta has got to keep the belief in that dressing room now. They've got to keep going, got to keep winning games, got to keep putting the pressure on, and hope that Liverpool just start to drop points somewhere along the path.
What an afternoon in North London.
Welcome back. 1-0 Arsenal lead Aston Villa at half-time then. It was pretty tight, but for once, Arsenal have converted a chance.
Yeah, they converted a chance. Yes, Villa did have a couple of sniffs, but what was good about the way Arsenal started is what they needed to do. They need to start fast, get the ball down the wings. I think the 2 wingers have been very good, Martinelli and Trossard. I think they've been very good in taking on their man. And, you know, they've just been probing away. And in the end, you know, they've got the goal.
And it was the combination of Trossard to Martinelli that resulted in the breakthrough.
Well, I was a little bit worried about getting wide and getting balls in the box, because Mings and Konsa were just clearing everything. But the way this one came in, it's a great pass down the line to him, and then this is good. That's a great ball into a dangerous area. Great movement off of the back of Maatsen. He didn't see him, and he's given Maatsen a very, very hard time. If you look where Maatsen is, he's had a look. I think he might be worried about Odegaard. You can see now he thinks he's gone. But Martinelli was the one he was meant to be worried about, and you know, we're very fortunate that popped across the line.
Too square, wasn't he, Wright? He didn't see him. He hasn't seen Trossard, Martinelli at all. How important is it for a striker when you see Trossard goes down the line?
Yeah.
It's easier for a striker to attack that. It's far harder for the defenders then to see the...
Because when he moves, that is when the strike... So when he moves to get the cross in, that's when the striker is doing his bit to get in the half a yard. You can see that with Maatsen. When he's trying to cross it, Maatsen's stuck like that.
Yeah.
And then you look at Martinelli. Watch when you can see him there. I think he's worried about Ødegaard going down there. So once Ødegaard goes inside Maatsen, he does not look again. So he doesn't. I don't even think he knows Martinelli's there. Look, and then bang, he's coming behind him. That's great movement from him because just as he's going to kick it, he's on the way. Watch, there he goes, bang.
Refreshing to see him go down the line there. You
absolutely.
know, Trossard and cross it. It's a far more dangerous crossing position when the defenders can't see. You know, they cannot see the striker. When you chop back on your good foot, as Arsenal do a lot of the time, it's far easier, more predictable to defend.
And talking of Trossard, it could have been worse for Villa. After that, he had a couple of opportunities.
I really like Trossard. I think he's busy. I think he always affects the game. Whenever he's come off the bench, he affects it. He comes with a good attitude. And threatens a goal all the time. He's looking to drift inside and get shots off. Martinelli makes the most of that one, by the way. I think the cameras are there and they've got a full picture of that. That's an easy save for someone of his quality. This is an easy chance for me, and he just needs to drive this one low. Righty, I tell you, when it breaks to him, that is a perfect opportunity. You could drive it low through Mings' legs. Yeah. It will give Martinez absolutely no chance. That's a poor miss.
It's a poor miss.
Mikel says
because where he's trying to put that, he's trying to put that in the top corner with a massive goalkeeper. The space is to the goalkeeper's right. Anything you can get on it that whips it that way, it's either going to go through the legs or, you know, he's going to go with the goalkeeper's going to have to parry it. So it's a poor effort from him. When you look at it, watch. So you look where Martinez is. Martinez is going to come across to his there he is. You ain't getting it in there. You know, he's too big. He doesn't have to dive. You have to whip that. You have to either whip that on the ground through Mings, or you've got to whip it just sideways so the goalkeeper has to try and make a save.
At 0-0, only 2 or 3 nervous moments when Villa
they've had
forwards?
Yeah, Steve, they've had a couple of moments where it's exactly what we experienced from Villa last season. You know, they can get themselves into positions like this, and I thought this was poor from Partey, but I'm not what we're expecting. He's not a right back, but he's made a 1-2 off of him. Too easy, that is, and that's a good save. You know what I mean? You're worried a bit about where he's parried it, but he's fortunate enough that Gabriel's there. But that's a good save there, and then he clears it. But in the main, you know, this is I don't know what's happening there. You know, with Thomas's, I don't know what he's seen, but like that was scary. For me, he's just got to hit that. He's got to hit that. Don't try and lift it over there. You're not going to be able to do it because the ball's moving too fast. Goalkeeper's not firing off of his line. Just hit it. Just smash it.
But at 1-0, Villa still in this.
Yeah, Villa have got good players and they can affect it. We haven't seen a lot of them. Not seen a lot of Watkins. Morgan Rogers, I think, is a wonderful player. I think Arsenal, I think they need another goal to win this football match. I really do. If they can score early, I think they can go on and maybe get 4 or 5. I really believe that. I think they play really well, Arsenal. They've controlled the game. And I think Villa always look a threat. So Arsenal need another goal.
But Arsenal only have 1 goal. But it is leading the match.